Reason being, we want to always be prepared. Okay, the more and more prepared we are, the easier it is that we do not miss trades, or that we don't get the fear of missing out or hesitation. Okay, we also like to set alerts or pending orders. Now that's mainly based on the bullet strategy, because we know that once price has an ascending or descending nature, it breaks through, we know that we have a chance to set a pending order. Some people may not like to set pending orders, and if that's the case, then we'll set an alert. An alert will just ping up on your phone or on your computer, just letting you aware of the situation that you're very close or that something is setting up. Okay, we also like to check any of our forecasts that we've done in the morning or the evening that are very close to a setup. Now you'll know when something is close or when it's not, because it would have had an impulse, we would have had a pullback or a counter trend move, and we will know then that we're very close to creating a bomb or a bullet strategy. Either way, we will know that it's setting up. So what I like to do is I like to check my charts every 5 minutes to the hour. Okay, I can check it on your phone if you're working, or if you're at home, you can set alerts. But every 5 to the hour, I will check my charts that I forecasted. This way, it allows you to not miss any trades, because especially with the bomb, we look at hourly closes. So if we know that a setup is coming at the top of an hour, if we check every 5 minutes prior to the hour, you will never miss a trade that you forecasted. We also make sure that you are back testing. For me, back testing is by far the most important thing you can do as a beginner trader, as a novice, as a new trader, and also as an experienced trader. Now you might think to yourself, well, why would an experienced trader need to backtest? And the key thing is this: if you are a professional athlete or a professional football player, so say for an example, we take Usain Bolt. Now Usain Bolt is the fastest man in the world. Now he got his gold medal in the Olympics. So now he's got his gold medal. Do you think he's going to say, right, I've got my gold medal now, I'm not going to bother training anymore. I'm not going to get up early and go to the track and start running. I'm not going to go to the gym because I'm already a gold medalist. Why do I need to go to the gym? Right? And what will happen to him when he does his next race? Do you think he'll still be the top champion racer? No, he won't. Because everything that got him to the position where he was at, where he was so good, was because of what he'd done prior to that. Okay? And it happens as well with backtesting. You assume that you know the strategy and that you don't need to backtest. Well, actually, when you're backtesting, this is really giving you and your psychological brain. So it gives you all that psychological impact. It helps you to see trades and it gives you the confidence to pull the trigger. Because what a lot of people don't understand is when you have a series of losses, for example, you might start then doubting yourself and doubting the strategy. But actually, if you've done enough backtesting, you will know that series of losses will come, especially when you are trading multiple pairs. So if you're trading 8 pairs, for example, you might only take 1 loss per pair. But that's 8 losses. That's still 8% of your account, which will feel very, very uncomfortable. But if you had backtested and you know that you will get losses and that you might get 8 losses in a row because you're trading 8 pairs, then it's a lot easier on you to keep pulling that trigger, right? And another, it swings in roundabouts. You could also get 8 winners in a row. Now, because you've got 8 winners in a row, you assume that you don't have to backtest anymore, because all of a sudden you're so good, you're winning every trade, you know exactly what you're doing. So actually, I don't need to do any more backtesting. Well, actually you do, because what will happen is you will get overconfident and you'll start taking trades that are just average or that are not even there. Just because you're confident, you'll be like, oh, I'll just take a trade here. You take the trade and actually it loses. And then you go back and say, oh my God, why have I lost? I can't believe I've actually lost that trade. And then you look back and it was actually not even in your plan. And this is why you have to stick backtesting, whether you're winning, whether you're losing, because this is the strategy and it helps you to stick to the strategy. Okay? Also, we advise that you journal every single trade, taken or missed. Now, What is so great about journaling missed trades? Well, if you're journaling missed trades and you're really analyzing why you've missed that trade, do you think the next time that trade comes along, you're going to miss it again? Highly unlikely, because you've already reviewed the trade that you've missed. So you've put that into your subconscious mind to be aware of that next time. Okay? Also, we would like you to review any open positions and making of any necessary adjustments. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, currently, if you have a position open and you are looking at management, you're looking at the way you're managing the charts. Is your management what it should be? Now, you might say, well, the management is always the same. Yes, the management is always the same, but your emotions are not always the same. So, for example, you might have had 3 losses in a row from 3 different pairs, so you still a high probability, but then all of a sudden you're in one trade that is now up 4%. And what comes into your brain? Straight away you start saying, well, actually, if I close now, I will actually get all of my losses back plus 1%. So actually I could just close this here. And it happens a lot, it happens often, and it happens because you don't have a lot of confidence, probably because you haven't backtested enough. Okay, and then what you do is you'll close that trade. Now, the reason I say you should always check or review any of the adjustments you've done, because if that is not in your plan, you need to really sit down and ask yourself why. Because that trade that you took out for 4% has now gone on to make 15%. And what's that going to do to you now? That's going to actually have more of an impact on you psychologically than it will anything else. Because now you're going to be saying, oh my God, I should have been up 15%. Take away the 3%, I would have still been up 12%, but I cut it short. Why did I cut it short? And then what you do is you beat yourself up about it. And this makes your life a lot harder, because what happens is the next time you look for a trade, you're going to be revenge trading. You're going to jump in. So this is why it's so important to review any of the trades that you are currently in also, or any adjustments that you may have made. Goal setting. Questions you may want to ask yourself when setting goals are: what goals are you trying to achieve? Why are you doing it? And how are you going to achieve this? So when you think about goals and any goals that you wish to achieve, you have to ask yourself these questions, because it's very vital to really understand why you want to achieve them and also how you're going to achieve them. So we can use some simple steps here to help you to be more realistic with your goals. Okay? Try asking yourself the question, why is a particular goal important to you? So what makes it so important? Why does it mean so much to you that you want to achieve that? A goal has to be measurable. So keep track of your goal and set accountable steps. So what do I mean by this? Well, what I mean by this is sometimes you'll have a big goal and you know that this is a goal that may be, for example, a 5-year plan. You might want to do something within 5 years. You might have something you want to do within a year. So what you have to do is you have to work out, if you've got a plan, for example, to do something in 1 year, then you need to make measurable steps. Okay, so for example, month in month, what can you do every single month that will add up to get you to your goal at the end of the year? And once you have these steps that are more measurable and set more realistic goals, it's a lot easier for you to achieve these goals, because you know that you've broken it down into smaller pieces. And once you break down all of these into smaller pieces, that all of those smaller pieces will add up to the end goal. So it's very good for you to actually check how measurable your goals are and to how you want to achieve them and what steps you're willing to take to get you there. You also have to give meaning to your goals. This will help your mind act on your behalf. What I mean by that is, I've got a saying that I love, which is whatever you focus on, you get more of. So if you are fixated and focused on your goals, and you know and you have measurable steps to hit each goal, you know it's achievable because you are taking these smaller steps to then gain a big goal. So in the Guerrilla community, we like to use different acronyms. So what I wanted to do here is to quickly go through some of those. So as you can see, we have an MH, which is the major high. We have the ML, which is the major low. Now, ones that we use more frequently are MRH, which is the most recent highs, MRL, which is the most recent lows. And then you've got the likes of BE, which is break even. LS is stop loss. And these are ones that you will see more commonly within our community, and it's just something to be aware of. So maybe write these down, so if you're not familiar with them, that if some people are saying it within the community, then you'll be able to understand much easily. I just wanted to say well done for finishing the base camp. Now we would like you to go on to the next educational videos.